Welcome to this practice. I'm really glad you're here. Today we're going to do some standing poses and we're going to use a few props. So I have a belt, I have my chair, I have 2 blocks, and I also have a round bolster. So you don't have to have all of these or any of them. We can use things that you have around the house, especially this chair. Don't worry if it's not a yoga chair. It can be whatever chair you have, something from your dining room or your desk or whatever. The blocks also, if you just have one, that's fine. Don't worry about the round bolster either. Again, we can improvise. So first thing we're gonna do is just come to stand in the center of the mat. Put your belt down. You don't need to worry about it just yet. And we're going to stand in Tadasana. So take your hands to your waist or hips and just stand for a moment. Sometimes we can bring the feet and the legs together, no problem, right? Other times that's an issue. Maybe it makes your knees hurt, the shape of your bones in your legs doesn't allow this to happen, and that's absolutely fine. There's also sometimes when you don't want to have the feet together. If you are having back pain, if you are on your cycle, or if you're pregnant, you need to stand in Tadasana with the legs apart. So I want you to find what makes sense for your body first in Tadasana. And I don't want you to look it down a lot, so I don't want you to do this a lot, but I do right now want you to look down at your feet. And I want you to see, are the outer edges of your feet parallel to each other and maybe to the side edges of your mat, right? And then lift your toes up a bit and reach them forward. So when you lift the toes and reach them forward, it prevents you from grabbing the mat with your toes, and then place the toes down. The other thing that happens when you lift your toes, the shin bone moves up to the knee and the kneecap lifts, and then your quadriceps lift, right? So lift the toes again. If you haven't already, lift them up. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see from a different view. Lift the toes so the shin bone pulls up, the kneecap lifts, and the quadricep lifts. Now put the toes back down, but find your hip blades. We all have them, they're right here. And lift those up and draw your abdomen back. Now take your arms down by your sides. And for the first moment here in Tadasana, have the palms facing forward so we feel external rotation in the upper arms. Then you can turn your palms to face your legs. Have a nice lifted open chest. Feel like you're lengthening up from the sternum to the throat, and then lengthening or spreading the collarbones from the inside out. Be firm and steady in your legs. Lift your toes again if you feel like you've lost that sensation in your legs, and then place them back down. Okay, great. Now, relax for a second and grab your belt. My belt is already ready, and I've put a loop in the belt, and the loop in the belt is just wide enough for me to be able to press my wrist out into the belt. Can you see? And I can push out into the belt, and that really activates my outer arm. It gives me some awareness in the arms. So once you get your belt buckled and place it on your wrist, I want you to come back to stand in Tadasana. So again, that might be feet together for you, it might be feet apart, so long as you have some sense that you're spreading the sole of your foot and that you're standing on your whole foot, not the outer edge, not the inner edge, right? Lift the toes again and really get this whole leg area to pull up. Okay. Now, take the arms in front of you. Press the wrists out into the belt. Really push. And you can feel your outer shoulder deltoid area activate. There's energy now in the arms, and extend the fingers straight out. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see from the side. Now, maintaining a strong Tadasana. Legs are strong, abdomen back. Press out into that belt, take a nice deep breath, and then bring the arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Take a moment here to really push those wrists into the belt. It's nice. And you can take the arms higher and higher and higher, and keeping the tops of the shoulders relaxed so the trapezium isn't lifting up and you don't feel tension in your neck. Push out into that belt. Breathe inhalation, exhalation, and then bring the arms down. Okay, we're gonna do it again, but I wanna point something out. When you bring your arm up, I want you to feel like the bottom tip of your shoulder blade is moving forward, right? So when I raise my arm, I wanna feel like this, as if I had my hand here, and I was pulling forward to take my arm up. And the reason I want you to feel that is so that you don't raise your arm from here, right? Because that just brings tension into the neck and it's not, right, doesn't look nice either. Okay, so put your belt back on. Bring your mind's eye, your attention to the bottom tip of your shoulder blade. Okay, I'm gonna stand to the side so you have this view. Now, Tadasana legs, abdomen back, tops of the buttocks moving down, and really push out into that belt and extend the fingers. Keep your face lifted. Take a nice deep breath. As you exhale, bring the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, upward facing hands. Now, maintain that. Push out into that belt. Keep a nice, easy, soft, relaxed face. Don't clench your teeth. Don't frown. Keep reaching those arms up. And then down you come. That was great. Okay. Now put that belt over to the side. Grab your chair. Again, it can be any kind of chair. It doesn't have to be this yoga chair. It can be just a chair from your dining room, okay? Now I'm gonna turn mine this way so that you can see me from the side, but I want you to sit however it's easiest for you to see me, probably straight ahead, right? Okay, so as I sit in my chair, that's the other difference about a yoga chair is that, we're not sitting like at the coffee shop. Okay. We're gonna sit with the sit bones hooked onto the front edge of the chair. All right. Now, for a moment, we're just gonna sit and hold on to the outer edges of the chair and just roll the upper arm bones back and feel that nice lifted open chest that we had in Tadasana. Okay, and then I want you just to relax. You can sit just and watch for a second. The next pose we're going to do is called Utkatasana, or fierce pose. Sometimes it's called chair pose. That's not really correct. It's like sitting in an imaginary chair, but it's fierce. It's a fierce pose, and you'll know why in just a second. So we're going to use a couple of things for the first couple times that we do Utkatasana. We're going to use the chair. We're also going to use the belt in a minute, but I just want to show you this real quick. So as you sit, this is the first way we're going to do Utkatasana. As you sit, again, we're hooking your sit bones right towards the edge of the chair. I don't want you to feel like you're about to fall off, but you're awfully close, right? Now here you can see my ankle and my knee are pretty much right in line, like my ankle is right underneath my knee. For Utkatasana, I want to move that back a little. So I'm going to move my feet back one step. Also, my feet are not together, right? There's a little space in between my feet. All right, and then I'm gonna roll my upper arm bones back, lift my chest up, and then I'm gonna press my feet down, bring my arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. And then I imagine that that belt is still on my wrists, right? And I'm moving the bottom tips of my shoulder blades forward, and I'm reaching up with my arms. Now, taking a nice deep breath, we're gonna come inhale, exhale, and slide the buttocks up off the chair and stand. Let's see how my knees are bent, my arms are reaching up, and I'm drawing my navel back towards my spine. And then I want to swing my arms down, find my chair, and sit back down. So we're gonna do that a couple of times, and then we're gonna move forward with the belt, okay? So get yourself on your chair and sit first, right? Hook your sit bones on the side, the front edge of the chair, and hold on back here. Roll those upper arm bones back. Okay, now I want you to move your feet back so that your knees are almost over your toes. and your heels have to really drive down into the mat, right? Press those heels down. Sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath. Bring your arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Okay. Now, maintain that feeling of the bottom tip of your shoulder blade moving forward. Take a nice deep breath. Now you have to lean forward a little bit and lift your buttocks up off the chair, but not too much. And then reach up with those arms. Press down with your heels. Pull your navel back. And then swing the arms down, catch the chair, and sit back down. Okay, that's a great way to practice Utkatasana. Now I'm going to move the chair out of the way, and we're going to get the belt. And we're going to put the belt back on the wrist, right where we had it just a moment ago for the Uttanasana and the Urdhva Hastasana, remember? All right, so here's my belt. I've got it on my wrist. Okay, I'm going to show you Utkatasana from the front and from the side. So again, we're going to stand in Tadasana. Now, some folks, again, can have the feet together. Others need to have the feet apart. All right, so I'm standing in Tadasana, taking a nice deep inhalation. As I exhale, I'm going to bring my arms up, bend my knees, take my buttocks down, but keep my chest lifted. So this is what it looks like from the front. Reaching my arms a little further up behind my ears, and then inhaling and coming up. Now I'm going to show you from the side. Taking a nice deep breath. Bringing those arms up, bending the knees, taking the buttocks down, but keeping my chest lifted. And then I reach my arms up just a little bit more, and I roll my buttocks down by pulling my navel towards my spine. Inhaling and coming up, and bringing the arms down. Okay, so it's getting more fierce, you can see. If you need to practice this again in the chair, right, go back to the chair. Stay with that modification of the pose until you feel strong enough to do it without the chair. Now you can use the belt. If you don't like the belt on your wrist, certainly you don't need to do that. That's fine. But we're going to do this one more time. So pick your way, right? You're either going back to your chair or you're putting your wrist in this belt. Standing in Tadasana. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chest. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, Utkatasana. Bend your knees, raise your arms, press your wrist into that belt. Now roll your buttocks over, down towards the floor by pulling your navel back towards your spine. Inhale and come up. Bring the arms down. One more time. Standing in Tadasana. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees. Almost like you're about to sit down in an imaginary chair. Push the wrists into the belt. Now, see, can you challenge yourself to pull your navel back to your spine a little bit more and roll the buttocks down. Now, put more weight in your heels. Lift your chest. Inhale and come up and release the arms. Awesome, that was really good. Okay, that is a fierce pose. Now you can see why it's called fierce pose. You'll never forget it, right? Okay, so next pose is Utthita Trikonasana or triangle pose. So I think might be a good idea to have some support for the hands. So I want to show you Utthita Trikonasana on one side using blocks. So I'm going to stand in the center of my mat, right? I'm going to take my hands to my waist. Usually we would jump the feet apart, but because there's a prop on the mat, I don't want you to jump. I actually just want you to step your feet apart wide. So you can see the bricks are kind of more to the inside of my inner leg than to the outside. Okay. So again, I'm going to show you one time with the blocks, and then I'm going to show you one time with the chair in case you need to have a little more height underneath your hands. The arms will go out to the side. Then we're going to adjust the legs for Utthita Trikonasana or triangle pose. I'm going to take my left heel, open it out, and externally rotate my right leg, and then re-straighten my legs. I want to feel like both inner legs are externally rotating. So I'm lifting my thigh and rolling out, pressing the feet down. Take a nice deep breath. As you exhale, you'll reach all the way out over your right leg, taking your hand down to your block and your top arm up. Some don't need a block. You can take your hand to your shin, or you can take the hand to the floor. To come up, we'll reach up through this top arm. Inhale and come up. Turn the toes forward and bring the legs together. Now, let's say you're a little stiffer, right? And you need a little more support for your hand. You will raise the floor up to you. So you could do this. You could stack 2 blocks up on the right side, since we're doing the right side first. You could make it even taller, like so, right? Or you've got this great thing called the chair. Let's say you need the chair, right? Okay, that's fine. You'll step your feet apart. This is just a quick demonstration of Trikonasana, Utthita Trikonasana with the chair. So again, my arms will be out to the side, open my heel, and I externally rotate my leg, and I come over. Now instead of my hand going down to the floor or to the block, see, the chair is right there for me, and I don't have to go that far, right? And then my top arm reaches up, and my hand is on the chair. Then you can maybe slide your hand forward a little bit. Maybe you can come down to your forearm. These are all ways to do Utthita Trikonasana. Okay, so let's decide what you need. If you don't need anything, don't use anything, right? But if your legs are bent, right, or if you're forward of your leg or something is misaligned, you might need a prop. Okay, so I'll take a brick. I can show with a brick. Okay, standing in Tadasana, in the center of your mat. Find your Tadasana. Be sure those muscles are pulling up. Thighs, knees, shin bone, everything. Arms are open. Lift that chest. Okay, now you can take your hands to your waist. You can step your feet apart. You don't have to jump. Arms out to the side. Taking Utthita Trikonasana to the right. Open that left heel out. Externally rotate your right leg and re-straighten your legs. Now, try not to turn your torso to that front leg. We really want to bring these back ribs around so I can see the logo of your shirt. Now reach out through those arms. Take a nice deep breath. Press down into your feet and then reach all the way over the top of your right leg. Not to the front, not to the back, all the way. Take your hand down to your shin, to the floor, to the block, to the chair, whatever it is that you are using. Now, reach up through that top arm. Extend your torso any amount more by taking those outer left ribs in and down and turning your chest towards the front of your room, right? Your monitor, whatever's in front of you. Try not to turn the head to look up at the hand. Now, press down into the feet, reach up through that top arm. Inhale and come up. Bend your front knee, turn the toes forward again. I think we could go right to the second side. I don't think we need to rest. Open your right heel out, externally rotate your left leg, straighten both legs. Now remember, we're lifting the inner thighs and rolling them back. So external rotation of both legs. Arms out. Take a nice deep breath. Reach all the way out across the top of your left leg. Coming to your Utthita Trikonasana. Hand on the shin, hand on the floor, hand on the block, the chair. Top arm straight up out of your shoulder. Have energy through your fingertips. Now take those right ribs, beads, in and down. See how that made my torso longer. Reaching out. Now, press down into the feet. Reach up through this top arm. Inhale and come up. Turn the toes forward and bring the legs together. Stand in Tadasana. Breathe.